Salut and welcome to EBI 15. Now, if you're watching this video, it's because your teacher has given you EBI 5 on your latest writing assessment. Now, this video has a different feel to all the other EBI videos, as it's not a misunderstanding or a misconception in your French. It's rather you need some coaching on the skill of vocabulary learning and how to learn vocabulary, because there's a lot to learn for your GCSE and your A level. Now, I'm not speaking to you today as Mr. Ennis, the teacher. I'm speaking to you as Sean, the student. Sean's my name, by the way, not another student called Sean, because when it comes to vocab learning, I've done it. I've done the hard miles. I've sat down and I've learned thousands and thousands of words. And in doing that, I've got some really good tips for you. So today's video is to go through the methods that worked for me when I was at school and college and uni, and what you can do to improve so you never see EBI 15 again. Let's go through Mr. Ennis's top tips. Right guys, so step one, there's 3 steps I want you to follow, and if you do these 3 things, I swear to you, your vocabulary will get good, and that is how you're going to build your confidence in this subject. Vocabulary is like the skills. Like, think if you're playing football and you've got the skills to do things, you can pass better, you can shoot better, you can read the game better, and that's just like having the vocabulary. If you've got the vocab, you're just able to communicate better. So it's so important. This is what you need to do. Step 1, you all have memorized. Here's a copy of my memorized down here. This is the way to get good at French. You need to commit time to memorize, and you need to commit time to learning vocabulary. If you don't, you will never learn it. We ask you for at least 15 minutes a week. If you want a 4 at GCSE, you need to do at least 15. If you want higher, you need to do more. Now, the point for this is you need to work memorize into your routine. If you say, oh, I'm never going to do it, I don't have time, you're never going to do it. So think of a time in the day where you could do memorize, or a time in your week you could do memorize. Look at this stat. 27 days of your entire life on average is spent waiting for the bus or waiting for the train. In that time, imagine if you'd spent that 27 days learning your vocabulary. So you need to find 15 minutes, find a bit of dead time waiting to do something, waiting for the train, on the bus, like when all your friends have got off. Think of something and somewhere you can do memorize and commit to it and work it into your routine. This is step 1. Step 2, memorize isn't enough. And this is where people go wrong. They say, and they do genuinely, spend 15 minutes learning the vocab, but they haven't really learnt it. I say, well, how did you learn it? And they say, well, I looked at it for ages. Just looking at something isn't going to put it into your head. The only way to learn is to actually challenge yourself and test yourself. So you've got a blank vocabulary sheet. There's no English on it. What I want you to do is, after you memorize, when you think you know it, say if you got a vocab test next lesson, you were set like to learn some vocab as part of your homework, and you've been on memorize, great. The next step is to look at that blank vocabulary sheet and say, right, I now should know this vocab. I'm going to fill it in, and don't look anything up. Go for it. So I've got an example of a year 7 one here. Hopefully you know all these words. So what you'll need to do is look at this and see if you can fill it in and write the English next to it. And if you can't, then look at our EBI. You need to get a post-it and write down any vocab that isn't sticking, put the French on one side and the English for it in the other, and then test yourself just like here. So look at the French and see if you can see the English, or even better, look at the English and see if you can say the French. Stick this on your mirror or somewhere you use all the time in your room, and test yourself every time you use it, and eventually that vocabulary will be in your long-term memory and you would have mastered it. Test yourself. If it's not hurting, it's not working, no pain, no gain. It's the same with vocab. So memorize, test yourself. There's one more step to make sure you've got this for your next assessment. And here it is. You've got to revisit what you've learned. You can know something today and have forgotten it by tomorrow, or forgotten it in a week, or you learn some vocabulary in year 9 when we start GCSE, and then in year 11 on your exam that vocabulary is up there again. You've got to come back and revisit it and revise it, otherwise it will fall from your long-term memory. So here, this is what you'll do. Say you've completed this vocab sheet now, so all you do is you cover it up and say, right, I'm going to go down each one. I remember doing this as a kid. I'm going to go down each one and see if I can do it. J'adore, I love, j'aime, I like, je déteste, I hate. Go through, again, any you don't know. If you hit one and think, oh, I just can't remember that one, and that will happen, then look at my extra challenge. Put it on a post-it note and then go back to it. Then mark yourself up, see what you know, see what you don't. Revisit and revise your vocabulary tests. I'm not telling you this as a teacher. This is exactly what I did as a student. I know this works. So guys, those are your 3 steps. Here we go. These are your 3 steps to modular vocabulary learning success. You've got to commit to doing these by next time, by the next assessment. Get into this habit and see what you can do. There's no activity for the EBI today. What I want you to do instead is get your 15 minutes on last module. You've been given EBI 15 on your writing assessment, so obviously this vocabulary isn't in your long-term memory yet. Go back on Memrise. I want you to, for your red pen, spend at least 15 minutes on the module vocab, see what you know, and practice by doing these 3 steps. Do it today as your red pen, and then next week when your teacher sets you vocab learning, come back and do these 3 steps. Do these things and you'll never see EBI 15 again. Right, well done for today. Thank you for watching. Get on Memrise, and I'll see you on another video hopefully next time. Merci, au revoir.